We'll only have to beat them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows it. Oh, let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the dance. Inside the plane, Coldflow Lane, we've all come down to cheer.
We're going to play for logging in.
And our glass of beer.
They're like Murray.
Pete, they can hear, you know that.
Oh, sorry.
Kenny's in.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
We've had our jelly deals and our glass of beer. Come rain or shine, all the time our families will bring. And as the Lions run on the pitch, everyone will sing. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. Let them come, let them come, let them come. We'll only have to beat them again. It's the best team in London, no, the best team of all. Everybody knows us, we're called Millwall. Let them come, let them come, let them come. Let them all come down to the den. Let them all come down to the den.
Oh, you Lions!
And we are back. How we doing, gents? Call that was a last-minute dash from all of us, wasn't it? Jesus Christ! Pete was asking for bald sweets. Well, I like the on. Joe, as always, was star of the class, and Kenny couldn't turn out to turn his MacBook on.
I can't. Do you know the worst thing about it? I can hardly hear you lot.
It might not be a bad thing, mate. What an absolute shower of shit we are. How you been, boys?
Yeah, all good, Dan. All good.
Joe, how you been, mate? I saw you Saturday. How you been?
Who's talking?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you.
I thought you said Kenny. Yeah, all good. Top notch. Feeling great.
How you doing, Ken? Last minute dash there.
Yeah, rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling.
We are rolling. Well, boys, this is the first podcast in a long time, right? And I checked earlier. The last podcast we did was called the first podcast of 2023. On January the 11th, it was actually the only podcast of 2023 as it stands. We was fourth in the table at that point, just coming off the international break, just got knocked out of the FA Cup by Sheffield United. And here we are, 16 games later. Yeah, I've done some research, don't worry about it. Played 14, won 6, drawn 4, lost 4. And we sit fifth in the division, 4 points clear on the gap of Norwich. So it gives me great pleasure to start with the opening question. What's been going right, chaps? What's been going right? Who wants to get us off underway?
Go on, Joe.
The G-Row effect.
Oh, he's back.
Tactical masterclass.
Yeah.
I think we've just, if you look at a lot of our, especially away results recently, it's not exactly been pretty to watch, but I think, like, especially some of our Rowett subs late on in the game, I know it can be negative, but we found a way to literally just grind out results, go 1-0 up. And yeah, the defence has been brilliant. The emergence of Cresswell's been brilliant as well. So, not always the best going forward, but I just think the defence has a lot to put to it, in all honesty. That's my view.
I don't want to be negative on this at all, right? You know, because we're in a great position, but I think we've done what we did at the start of the season. Our own form was spot on, and our away form was rubbish. Now, our away form is really good, and our home form is got a lot to be, desired for, because it's been terrible at home form, isn't it? Especially, I think, our last 10 games. I think we've only won 2. Is that right, or something? At home.
Lost to Huddersfield, which I've highlighted. I've highlighted 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw from the last 14 to talk about as well. But yeah, Huddersfield, Burnley we drew, Norwich we lost. So yeah, home form's not been fantastic.
Great.
But it's been going right. Ken, what's your take? Because obviously me and you were a little bit more not pro row it out, but not a little bit less in favour of the manager.
Well,
You still got that stance?
Yeah, I don't think it's the G Rout effect. I think it's probably more the Dan Goodwin and Kenny Draper effect. To be honest, let's be honest. I mean, not that I can grumble with what's been going on, but
no.
Gary Rowett, for me, has been doing absolutely everything that we've been shouting for him to do, probably for about 2 years. Press higher, attack more, create more opportunities. If you're going to utilise the ball down the wing, then gets crosses into the box. You know, all of them things that we were moaning about probably 6 months ago, he now does. So it's one of them things. I think that although our form's all right, I think that we've probably looked a little bit patchy in games the last month or so. I don't think the performances have been that great. But I think, like Pete just said, you know, when you're doing well and when your form's good, that's when you start grinding out results that maybe you wouldn't think you'd get. So we definitely have become more attacking. And I think there's a method behind that. And I said it at the beginning of the season. Everyone laughed at me, but I'll say it again when the time's right.
All right, fair enough.
Did anyone read that article earlier, actually? I think it's just come out today, where Rowett literally said, it's taken me 3 years to know what the Millwall fans want to see and become a bit more attacking. And he says, I've just started to get to grips with what the fans want. But it goes to show he's doing the right things. Like, last few games now, we're hearing there's only one Gary Rowett at the end. Never thought we'd be hearing that, would we, at the start of the season?
No, we didn't. It's completely off topic. It's not maybe it has got magical powers. What's the Tony Pulis style baseball cap all about? All of a sudden, he's pulled out the bag, isn't he? He's got all Pulis on us. Do you ready to have the old Barnet done, Pete?
Yeah, I reckon he's had Barnet done, mate. Definitely had him filled in or something.
What Joe said a minute ago, like we've become that team almost that are getting the rub of the green, or grinding results out and going, fuck me, probably shouldn't have won that one. Whereas before we go, shit ref, we should have had this penalty, fucking that decision went against us. But we're getting through games without really playing well, and that's the fucking sign of a winning side, isn't it? A successful side.
You know, a major factor as well, what I've noticed as well, the fans and the players, the manager and the players are really starting to get it now, and the fans and the team are in unison. Like, you see it at the West Brom game. Like, don't get me wrong, of course we'd love a win, it would be difficult, but we see they actually had a go and we went for the win. Everyone sort of come out positive, and yeah, I just think there seems to be a really good bond between the players, the manager, and the fans at the minute, and that can take you a long way.
I agree with that. I think on a reflection of that, you know, we got to win at Stoke. Didn't really do a lot other than score the goal. Couldn't really get over off. So didn't do a lot. I mean, going forward, we defended very resolutely without having really to put our bodies on the line. I think Rowett's saying, well, come on, attack us because you ain't going to break us down. I think we've got stronger at the back as well as scoring more going forward. But the Reading game was usually at a point where fans would go, this is fucking shit, fucking attack. But all the fans did instead of complain was just sing more. We've been singing more than ever at away games because they're just on board. They know the players are giving everything and they know we're getting a result. So maybe, like you said, the performances haven't been great. You sense that real fucking togetherness between the fans and the team more than ever, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And that can really push us on.
Yeah. Well, look, played 14, won 6, drawn 4, lost 4. We don't want to go all the way back and go through every game like we sometimes do. But let's just talk briefly about 3 of those games. I've picked out one win, 1 draw, and 1 loss from those. The highlight for me, surely, again, a game that we wouldn't have won a couple of years ago because we was dead on our feet, Sheffield United. 12:30 kickoff as well on a Saturday. We'll take the same this Saturday. Friday coming on telly. What one of the best I've ever seen out of them. One of the performances from the team.
And that was a game where, like, unlike the Burnley games and the Fulham games of the past and all that, where we didn't show Sheffield United any respect. All right, we played them in the cup, and Rowett said it'd be a different game when you come down in the league game, and it was. And we had a proper go. Do you know what I mean? We had a proper go at them, mate. Didn't show them any respect, and fully deserved the 3 points in that game, in my opinion. We just kept going for them all the time, and that's what we got to do. Like to teams coming up on Saturday or Friday, I should say. Show no respect, just go for it. I know away games we shut up shop, and it's like, you know what, you try and get a goal against us. You know what I mean? And I think they're only down for if we go 1-0 down, it's a bit of a problem. But as long as we're keeping that clean sheet, we go 1-0 up. It's like the old 1-0 to the Arsenal. Come and break us down. Do you know what I'm saying? And the defence, they've been absolutely magnificent of late. And Cresswell is my star pick at the whole lot of them. You know what I mean? They've all done their job, but Cresswell's like, to me, the star pick of that game. Go on, Joe.
What? What's the question?
Well, let's talk about because Connor Parcell just said it there. We need to secure Cresswell this summer. That won't happen because Leeds won't sell him.
No, definitely.
But Aaron Press.
Unless we're in the Prem and they go down.
That's a very good point. Then they can't say no, couldn't they? They can't hamper his career. Cresswell, boys, he has absolutely come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he? The last 6 or 7 weeks. To the point I actually saw a thing earlier on might have been News at Den, or someone did a poll and said, who you're starting this weekend, Cresswell or Hutchinson? I think it was like 70% Cresswell.
But if you're not seeing his range of passes that the man does. Do you know what I mean? His passes, crossfield passes, down the line. He's always looking for that pass. He ain't one of them defenders that panics on the ball and just boots it in the road's head. He tries to do something with it. Sometimes he can get in the past, he's come unstuck. And that's why he sort of lost his place. But I think he's learnt from that. And his range of passing, and he's like, when he wins the ball, he's looking up. And then he's guiding the defence as well. When he's telling them to go over there, do that. It's like a proper captain. Do you know what I'm saying? At his age, is unbelievable. And he's come on leaps and bounds.
We're seeing Ken, and we like fragments of what we was told by Leeds, and he's just a warrior more than anything. And that's not the first time he's had his head nearly taken off, is it? Fractured, and he'll be itching to play on Friday.
I was definitely one of the people 8 weeks ago slagging him off and saying get Hatch back in the side, and
same.
I don't trust him. All these attributes that I didn't like, and I don't think anyone can argue it. Even one of the most negative Millwall fans, like I am, definitely cannot argue with the performances that he's put on, the passion. And you know what? I think if you asked him, do you want to go back to Leeds right now? I think he'd tell you bollocks. I think he's bought into this old Millwallness, and he's one of these players that wears his heart on his sleeve, so to speak, and goes out there and shows it as well.
Yeah, I feel quite bad because I was slagging him off. I was trying not to slag him off. I was saying he wasn't the right fit for us. But there's clearly a player in there. You don't get in the England setup. You don't get as highly spoken about as you do by Premier League teams if you're not that good. But it got to the point that I actually unfollowed him on Instagram. It felt quite bad that I was like, saying he's sending back sort of thing. But like you say, he's buying into it as well. And we've seen him giving it to Zian Fleming in training. I've seen a video of him on the tube giving it a moo, like giving it that one. Like he's definitely enjoyed his time, and that's showing on the pitch. And I always say Cooper doesn't play well without Hutch alongside him. But they're really forming a fucking decent partnership now. And it's a shame that he won't stay. But unless Leeds go down and we go up.
Never say never.
I know. It's, you know what, the one thing about us potentially going up, I still don't think we will, that the bottom three, well, probably Southampton will go now. But it looking like for a while it could have been Everton, Leeds and West Ham. Probably the only time.
That was. If I'd contemplate not wanting to go up. We'd be like, yeah, that's 3 you'd want, wouldn't it?
100%. Stephen Ball, thank you, mate. Thank you. Good evening. And thanks for your donation. Super chats are open. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I am to blame. People saying it's been a while. And the boys have been leaning on me, Kenny especially. So I'm aware of this light flashing behind me. Sorry. Fucking hell. Maybe probably think it's a Dodgy shot. I might have to turn that off in a minute if it don't stop flickering. Okay. So we spoke about the win over Sheffield United. You know, a result I thought was almost as good as that, although we didn't get the 3 points, was Burnley.
Yeah.
And they're a fucking good side. Runaway leaders in the division. Excuse me. I am still
That
here.
was a fairly late equaliser, wasn't it? So that felt
again, coming back, you know, against the odds, really. I feel against the odds. We had a lot of players out. We played the right game. And when we went for it, the time was right. He didn't even start Bradshaw that night, did he? Brought Bradshaw on. Bradshaw gets the equaliser. I think it was that night I thought, you know what, we could actually fucking make the playoffs now. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes they're the pinpoint games that, as you say, stick out.
I think that when we play teams like the Sheffield Uniteds and the Burnleys, they come to Millwall to have a go. Like they're not there to grab a point and go on. They're there to win every single game, and them type of teams that when we come up against teams like that, we need a team to come at us in order for us to succeed. And if we, when you play, I won't go into it too much, but when you play the likes of the Huddersfields that just want to grab a point and fuck off home, we struggle to break them down. But the Sheffield Uniteds, the Burnleys, there is gaps if you take the gambles. And that's why we get results
I
out of
was
the
thinking about that earlier, actually, thinking about the Luton game. I was thinking that they're going to come at us. So I think, in a way, we might do well. We do better at teams coming at us. And sort of like West Brom on Saturday as well. We knew they was going to come at us, so then we go at them. Whereas, like that Huddersfield game, you can't. It's tough to break teams down like that.
Yeah, do you not think, like, with Luton coming to town, do you not think, I suppose they're not going to change their game, are they? Luton are very, like to pop the ball around.
Yeah.
But if you was a team, if manager of Luton, you'd think, look, they've fucking drew against Burnley, they've done Sheffield United, they've done a lot of big teams here, but they struggle against teams that sit back. So let's sit back and let them come at us and we'll get a result. It doesn't work like that, does it? Because they will come at us, and like you say, it probably will suit us.
It's not the Sheffield United's it's not the Lutons or the who else have we got? We've got Blackburn as well, haven't we? Preston that are in a bit of form. They're not the teams I worry about. It's the Hulls and the Wigans that scare the life out of me. The teams that will sit back.
Well, nicely linked, Ken. Let's have a look. I have got the fixtures that we have got left this season. There we go. Luton, Hull away. Someone said on the comments earlier that Hull's got limited tickets left available already. Preston at home, Birmingham at home. I'm actually not there for that one. Wigan away, Blackpool away, and then Blackburn at home. So the Wigan and the Blackpool games, they're the ones you'll be thinking, oh yeah, but both those teams could be potentially relegated by that point, which would give them nothing to play for. And like you say, I'm thinking back recently at both those clubs, and we haven't got results up there. So where does the land lie? Let's have a look at the league table. There we go. Not looking bad, chaps, is it? Not looking bad at all. And I'm just going to say as well that people keep saying, and it's all right to keep tabs on other scores. Sheffield United are drawing up. Middlesbrough are losing. We don't need to worry, right, about 1, 2, 3, or 4 now. Forget those. Our league table starts with us. They're 5th. And the only teams we need to worry about is now the teams below us, Blackburn and Norwich. We need to better or equal those teams' results going forward. We don't need to worry about above us. Obviously, we're playing Luton on Friday. I keep saying fucking Saturday. Did you know something, boys? Do you know what another fixture is on Friday?
No.
Blackburn v Norwich at Ewood Park.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boom. That just happened. So going into the Luton game, we're jumping well ahead, and we'll go back. So I want to speak about players and certain players that have been playing in positions of why that maybe aren't their positions. But I've got a funny feeling we will beat Luton Friday. Others I've spoken to are not so confident. Kenny's nodding.
Yeah, I think we will. Look, we are on an absolute. We are absolutely steamrolling at the moment. I think anyway, and looking at games like Luton, every single game at the moment is a cup final. I think that if you go and beat Luton, you can look at the rest of the results and be like, look, you know, we should. I think if we beat Luton, we'll win nearly every single game that's left. But you've got a full crowd. It's an important game, and I don't think Luton will show up as much as what they did when we played them at their ground. I think it will be a loud, intimidating place with a lot of pressure, and I think that now, like you say, the fans and the players are all united. I think that's just going to be too much for them. Yeah,
Pete, what do you think against Luton? It is going to be a sellout. It's pretty much sold out already. I checked earlier.
They're the team that's most impressed me, to be fair. I've watched the Burnleys, of course I have, and the Sheffield United, but the intensity that Luton played against us that night there was unbelievable. And it was like there was no let-up at that game. And how we found ourselves 2-0 up is beyond me, you know?
Yeah,
and it was just a game. It reminded me of Joe was there, Bournemouth away some years ago, and we was 2-0 up. But we was getting we lost 5-2, and they are very, very impressive. But I think Ken's got a good point there with the crowd pushing us on as well. I think it will, of course, it can be massive, massive plus for us. And I could see a possibility that we could beat them. Yeah, why not? Why not? They're not Man City, are they?
No, I'm in for a win. So is Kenny and Pete. If Joe joins us, that probably means we definitely won't win as well, because everyone's getting that confidence about it again. But
just alluding back to what I said earlier, I think it will quite suit us, and I think especially if they do come at us, which you do expect, and I was thinking we're going to win. All the points Kenny said and my dad just said as well. Packed out stadium, and if we do go, well, when we win it. That's just got the players are confident enough as it is, but that will be huge. And if we win that, I think we'll just keep seeing it.
This is hard work for you, Dan, because all of a sudden everything's going well. We're all agreeing.
I've run out of questions already. No, listen, boys.
We need to get some special guests on.
It's good for us. I was thinking I might start saying questions from the audience in a minute. It's good for the club, mate. It's good for the fans. Everyone wants it at the minute. And listen, make no mistake, I'm not going to deny it's going to be fucking excellent for the channel as well if it was to progress to the next level. Let's talk about, I'll tell you, our old mate, the sponsor, right there in the top right corner, Regal Elevators. He has his moments. He's a bit erratic, but he said something that I thought was spot on Saturday in his video. He said, look, we all keep saying go forward. And we have been going forward a little bit more, but maybe we haven't got the players always to get forward as much. And I'm going to talk about Watmore, Burke, etc. in a minute. But if we ain't got the players to go and do it, don't do it. And I felt in the first half against West Brom, I don't think we did have a good go, but the second half, I thought we had a really good go. And like you're saying, if you ain't got the players to be out and out attack, then don't do it. Go with the players you've got. And I think we've seen Honeyman and Volsammer, maybe not so much Honeyman, but they've played a big part in this so far. They're not natural wingers. I think Rout plays them more than the others because they will naturally defend a bit more and they'll do a bit more tracking back and a bit more fighting than potentially Watmore and Burke would do. So I think, again, praise to Rout. I think he's getting it right with his selections, even if on paper it may not potentially be our ideal 11. We're going to go through the team in a minute that's been getting by and speaking about individuals. But let's start with, I think we can all agree Bradshaw up front, absolutely no question. But let's talk about the big fucking German, because this week, of course, he did get a contract extension, which was triggered, a clause in his contract, start 12 games, and you get a new contract. Join him in the comments as well. Where do we stand on the big fucking German, the Volkswagen, the cockslammer, call him what you like? What do we make of him, boys? Because he's not maybe fantastic, but I think he's definitely playing his part in a Rowett type team as well.
I think he's done a job, hasn't he? He's done a job. It's difficult because his natural position, he's a number 9.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had the opportunity to play in a number 9. This is one of my biggest arguments, is that if we had wingers playing on the wing, I felt like we would create more. Somehow, people like Honeyman and Vogelslammer have managed to adapt and somewhat create more opportunities as they've had more time to work together. I mean, going forward, is he the type of player that we want in our team, in our first 11? Probably not.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think he definitely deserves the year extension, and I think that he would be a good squad player at least. And he's definitely a replacement for Bradshaw. If Bradshaw was to ever get injured, he's the only person that could probably play as a 9.
Yeah. What about you, Pete? Where'd you stand on Volsammer? Again, exactly what Kenny just said. Maybe he wasn't everyone's first choice, but I think the way Rowett plays is working with him.
Well, I don't think he's a number 9, to be fair. I mean, you look at the chances, the goals he has scored. I mean, sort of half lucky. He's hit straight to goalkeeper, things like that. And then chances he's had, he's hit straight to the keeper. He ain't an out-and-out deadly striker, in my opinion, at all. Yes, again, another Mill type player that grafts and, he's got to get some crosses in and things like that. To me, he ain't a striker. He ain't a winger. I don't know what he is, to be honest, but he's a grafter. Give him that. But, he's not, he doesn't really track back that much. But, given his position and what he actually does, which I don't think is a great deal, I think you could put that Essie in his place and he'd do a much better job, be more threatening than what Vogelslam.
See, I agree. I think Essie would give you more going forward, but I don't think that would work with the results that we have got.
Or the right way.
I think it works better. And listen, I'll say this about Essie, right? He's a million miles better than Tyler Bury will be, right? Or has been. But I like him, and I'm very happy that he's as young as he is and as confident as he is. But he's been free. The last game at the Den, he kicked 3 over the bar. And then everyone walks out and went, what a player. He's good. He's got potential. But I think he's getting more leeway than he should at the minute because he's young. But he's an exciting prospect without a doubt. Apparently he played really well today for the 21s. We're going to cover that as well because a lot of first-team players play. But right here, right now, I agree. I think S.A. is a more exciting player. I mean, we haven't even spoke about the other two yet. Pardon me, Watmore and Burke. But I think what I said, and then Kenny's agreed, I think Volsammer just fits the Rowett way. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't set the world alight. Very industrious. They are the Germans, aren't they? Vorsprung durch Technique, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, I literally said on Saturday to Connor, I think it was, I said, however, 3 quarters into the season are we, nearly at the end, and I said, I still can't work him out, whether he's good or bad. What I'd say is, I can't work. I'd say he's probably a striker. We've not really seen enough of him as a sort of centre forward, which I think he's meant to be. But I'd probably have to disagree with my dad there when he said we've seen him lots of chances. I don't think we've seen him have lots of chances. That's just my opinion. But all we can say is he's on the wing. He's in a winning side. He's doing the job. So why would you change it? My view is very similar on Honeyman. To me, I'm not. Wasn't always a huge fan of Honeyman. I'm like, he's not a winger. He's a centre mid. But when you just see the setup now, you just think, well, it's been working somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
But go with it.
Well, he actually. Sorry, I should have mentioned this. I didn't know when I said what I said. He obviously didn't start Vogelsammer, did he? Saturday, he started Watmore, and I thought that Watmore and Burke were brought in maybe a little bit last minute, but I was well happy with both the signings. And neither of them can really get in the side. I don't think Watmore can get into it at the minute, although he scored his debut against QPR, his full debut. I think they're struggling to get into it, those two. And I think that Honeyman and Volkswagen, if you said to me at the start of the season, we're going to be here in the division with those two on the wings, I would have said, you're fucking mad. Well, they just seem to fit into, I mean, Honeyman especially. I mean, he's very, in my book, he's a million times better as a footballer all round than what's it called? Vogelsammer. He's a little bit like Ben Thompson on roids, isn't he? He's a little bit of a better version of Ben Thompson. But again, he's not. I still don't know whether he's a central midfielder, whether he's a 10, but he's playing on the left wing a lot of the time, and we're getting. Like Joe says, don't fix what's not broken. We're getting by.
I think that this is it explains again the Rowett way is that you've got 3 wingers, sometimes 4 wingers: Tyler Bury, Essay, Watmore, Burke, all on the bench. And the reason why is because they are players that want to go at defence. They want to attack. Whereas you've got Vogelslammer and Honeyman. So Vogelslammer will do as he's told, and Honeyman naturally is a midfielder. So he will naturally drop back. Not enough in my view against West Brom. I thought he was labouring getting back, to be fair, and I thought he gave I think it was McNamara in the first half a lot to do. But they naturally will drop back more. It's also a lot easier when you've got 2 centre mids that play as CDMs.
Yeah.
So that them players, Watmore I really like the look of. Burke can do one, but as far as I'm concerned, they're too attacking. And that's why they don't get a start. They come on when we need to get a result.
I think Burke. I like Burke. I know, like, he fucking not very liked. But I think he's very powerful, very pacey, and I think he's brilliant to bring on. He might be, like we said before, why is Tyler Bury so good when he comes on, but he's terrible when he starts? I think with Burke, he's so quick and powerful that he can, if you're under the cosh and you need an outlet up high on the pitch, I think he can do that quite well. But you link that in nicely, Ken. I've seen something about the goalkeeper, and we'll get on to George Long later. Sorry. It might take a while. Me and Kenny was going out Saturday. Central midfield, you said that both players CDMs. George Saville, I thought, was outstanding Saturday. Alongside him, Ryan Leonard. I've seen people say he was fucking brilliant Saturday, and I've seen people going, Leonard, you're fucking useless. I'm still on the fence. I don't think he's done anything wrong since he's come in. I think he's played well. Saturday, the only 2 things he did wrong Saturday, sort of, I don't know, he mistimed that header or he pulled out of it and West Brom broke away. And the other one, he tried to slot Ollie Burke in, didn't pull it off. I ain't got a problem with that because he's tried to play a full pass, a killer pass. But where did you boys stand on this partnership now, Leonard and Saville? Especially now Billy Mitchell played 60 minutes today for the 21s. And he'll be breathing down their neck for his starting shirt back.
Can I go?
Go on, Ken.
I don't think Billy Mitchell gets back in the team this season.
Oh.
It's not. It's nothing against Billy. I think Billy's been brilliant this season. I really do. But we've got to a point now where, and I know what you're going to argue with me on this the minute I say this word. But we need to go with more experience, more of a level head, and I think that they complement each other well. I think Billy Mitchell and George Saville complement each other well. Yeah. However, I think that Leonard defends better than Billy Mitchell, and I also think that he attacks better than Billy Mitchell. But does Billy Mitchell flitter around and ask for the ball, demand the ball, etc. more? Yeah, 100%. Does he probably cover more miles? Yeah, 100%. But I think that Leonard is where he needs to be when he needs to be there. And I think that his passing range is better, and I think he's more of an attacking threat as well. So, but I also think that Ryan Leonard is a great player. Yeah, I might be edging in my head because of that. But
I don't disagree with a lot you said at all. Again, Billy was in, he got injured, he goes out, Leonard comes in, and it's working. So, unfortunately, now he's got to wait for his opportunity. I agree with that. The only thing I would say there is, I would say amongst calm heads on the ball, I'd say he's one of the most comfortable in possession. But I don't disagree. I think Leonard and Saville's working at the minute, and look, I know like Billy will want back in. Of course he will, because he's desperate to play. But it's good for the manager. It's good for the players to have this healthy competition.
I wouldn't be upset if all of a sudden, on Friday you see Billy Mitchell and Saville alongside each other. I wouldn't sit there and go, "That's ridiculous." I just think that the Leonard and Saville thing's working at the moment.
No, I agree. And he's come back to fitness right at the right time, Pete, and he's Ryan Leonard.
I'm going to disagree with both of you on that one. I think that we are lacking that forward momentum passing that Billy Mitchell offers us, right? I think Saville and Leonard are too much alike. Yeah, they're like more defensive midfielders rather than driving forward with the ball. I think they're too much alike, and I think you've got to have a difference in midfield. You've got the one that lays back, the one that likes to go forward. I think they both stay on the halfway line. They don't really get that forward enough, in my opinion. Where Billy Mitchell, to me, does like to run with the ball and look for the forward pass. And I think we've missed him because if you look at over the last 4 or 5 games, we haven't played well. We haven't played well, but we've got results. Yeah. I think the last time actually really played well was when Mitchell was in the side. I don't know if he was in the side against Sheffield United though, was he?
No, I think Shackleton played that day.
Yeah,
I think it was Shackleton. I think it was Shackleton and
Shackleton had a great game that day. Yeah,
he had a really good game.
I mean, great players. Don't get me wrong. Leonard's been great. Saville's been great, but I think they're too similar, and I think we need to have one of them's got to take on that. Getting into the I know Billy don't do it much. Getting into the box mode of it, or forward passing, or looking for that forward. And I think that's what Billy offers us. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think we've missed Billy Mitchell, and I think I'll take him over any one of them two, definitely. I know Saville had a good game, but I'll maybe try Billy with Leonard.
Peter's right, Billy and Fleming, Bradshaw. Yeah, I mean, look, I've seen people say to me, "We're missing Billy Mitchell so bad," but then Leonard has played well, so it's not an easy decision. It's for the gaffer to free Bart. It's for the gaffer to decide. Joe, if you was the gaffer, what would you be doing on Friday?
I'm of the old saying, I'll go with if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I agree with Kenny. I don't see Billy Mitchell. If them two stay fit, Leonard and Saville, I don't see Mitchell coming back in. But that's nothing against him because for me, up until his injury, he's been my player of the season, Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
But I know what my dad's saying, like that they are similar players. But again, I like to say like it's been working somehow. It might not be pretty, but at this stage of the season,
I think there's a lot of experience, like Kenny says, a lot of experience in there.
At this stage of the season, I'm not worried about performances. It's about grinding out results.
Yeah.
Whether it's pretty or not, all that matters at the end of the day is those 3 points, whether it's a point, 3 points, there we go. Paul Wise agrees. But another thing to add, good thing, he's taken over the responsibility of the Fleming long throw. And his throws are a lot more dangerous than Fleming's.
Oh, we got to talk about Fleming, by the way.
Funny enough, right? We just missed him out, didn't we? Michael Heatsman says Billy at home and Leonard away. For me, yeah, maybe in light of who the opposition are, we definitely ain't seen more of the ball. And I think we would have seen more of the ball away at Reading, away at Stoke, away at QPR if Billy was in the team. However, we won all 3 of those games, so it's fucking academic. But yeah, we missed out at Bermondsey Bergkamp. And the non-long throw and the free kicks that he practices. Pete, you're always going about him. We love him. He's been brilliant for us. But the free kicks and the long throws. But yeah, go on, Pete. Give us a word on them free kicks. You got them fucking free kicks. He practices.
I don't know why they persist with him with these free kicks. It takes an age to take them, and we're all thinking. I know the last one. I said, "This is going straight over the bar, right?" And
straight down the Alden Road.
Straight over the bar, yeah. Got to stop him taking the free kicks all day long. Of course, I love Fleming. I think he's a great player. But he's just looking for that glory moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's always looking for the glory goal.
He wants his name in lights.
Putting it aside. He's always looking for that, that moment, isn't he? With the free kicks, it just, like say, over the bar. The throwing don't even reach the 6-yard area, right? Even with a dry towel, right? In the pouring rain. But other than that, we need him. He's a great individual, skillful player and going forward. But I think he's lost a little bit the last few games as well, though, to be fair. I think he's just not the same player in the last 3 or 4 games.
Kenny's nodding.
Something's not right there.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, Pete. I think he's very, and listen, he's done great for us, and he is a great player. But like you just said, he is a great individual player. There's not really any and I know I hate using these type of terms, but there's not really any Millwall-ness about him. I thought the first half against West Brom, he was woeful. I mean, he must have got a kick up the arse for the second half because he definitely improved. But
I honestly, I forgot he was on the pitch first half.
Yeah,
I actually genuinely forgot he was on the pitch.
He don't run. I watched him for a long period of time. Unless he's anywhere near it, he's not interested. And unfortunately, we don't need that type of player right now. Like, we need him to go back to when he was playing the first 10 games when he signed for us. That's what we need, not the comfortable, I'll do it if I feel like doing it type of player. You know, personally, I don't think he brought anything to the game against West Brom at all. The chance that he had, where he had the choice of kicking it at the whole of the goal. He had the whole goal, and he hit it straight at the keeper. I was baffled. I was baffled.
I think his decision making is a quite weak point of his game as well. How many times have we seen him where we're on the break and he's travelling through the centre, and there'll be a player either side of him, and he always seems to play it to the wrong person, or he delays too much and he should have done it quicker. But like, as I say, I'm not digging him out. Like, I love him, but
he's getting hammered here in the comments. The boys, that's fucking.
He's been that good. We've got to try and pick out some bad things.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, no, he is great. And do you know what? He does fucking shoot from anywhere, and he is a little bit self-indulgent. And he's had some great games this season. Kenny was there at Preston. I fucking unfortunately wasn't. But he has had a very few lucky goals as well. But it's the old saying, you don't fucking shoot, you don't score. And someone gone in a little bit fortunately, but someone there said maybe the season is catching up with him. Could be first season in English football.
Mind you, though, Dan, we've just come off an international break. You know, so he's had a couple of weeks off.
Yeah,
he probably shouldn't have played like that in the first half against West Brom.
Yeah. I think the first half of West Brom, none of the players were out really. I think second half.
No. Saville played 2 internationals.
Here's a question for you: Who could fill his position in that position he plays? What Mill player could play in that position?
Well, we just discussed this, and maybe not anymore, Saville. But you got Leonard, Saville, and Mitchell all chomping at the bit. You could maybe go, if you needed to, a little bit more flat midfield 3, and then 2 more, and then maybe a more attacking wingers behind Bradshaw. Or some people saying put Fleming up front with Bradshaw, but he's not going to change the formation.
I'm about to bold decision. If Bennett was fit, I'll just drop Fleming for the 1-2 game. And if Bennett was fit, put in his position. Because I've
seen Bennett play number 10 before, like last season.
Backside, I think he needs a kick up the backside to realise, you know what I mean? You've got to pick the game up a little bit more.
Yeah. We'll get back to the teams in a minute, right? The team in a minute, because we're going to work back through the defence, and then we'll finish with the goalkeeper, which could be a long one. Talking about Bennett, Billy Mitchell, Bart, people saying, where's Bart? The under-21s place that then I was going to go, but I didn't have time. They played Burnley. Look at the starting 11. Bolkowski in goal. Abdul Malaki's a left-back. He's quality. So I don't know where Scott Malone played. George Evans, Sean Hutchinson, Coley's a centre-half, S.A., Billy Mitchell, Mason Bennett, Nana Boateng, and Tyler Bury. That's a strong fucking reserve side, isn't it? There. Tyler Bury got the winner. We won 1-0. So I would say, without playing a lot of those players, you don't usually see that. At this point of the season, I would suggest that he's got, especially with Luton and Hull within 4 days of each other coming up, other players in mind to keep them sharp, you know, just in case.
Do you know, when I see that earlier, I looked at that and I thought, do you know what? At this stage of the season now, we are in a very good position because we've got a lot of them players and near on full fitness. So we've got a lot of options there now.
I think that's a great decision to play them lot today like that. You boys agree?
Yeah.
I think not only keeps them all sharp or gets them sharp, I think that sends a message, not of warning to this starting 11, but fuck me, these boys are waiting to go here. Do you know what I mean? Chomping at the bit.
I'll tell you what, though. Just to throw a spanner in the works. you've got 8 players there that this season have played in Millwall's first team in a competitive championship match, and they only managed to beat Burnley under 21s 1-0.
I don't know who played for Burnley. But... yeah, true. But they probably would have been, at half pace.
Yeah.
Polkowski in goal there as well, but we're going to get to him in a minute. We're going to talk now about the back four. Okay. I mean, you can't really argue the back four at a minute, can you? We've discussed Cresswell's newfound form.
Fusion.
Yeah, and his tenacity. Cooper alongside him. I think I've never had a problem with Cooper. I know people did a little while ago saying he's lost it. I think he's fucking superb. Danny Mack, if he could cross the ball, would be playing in the Premier League. But luckily for us, he can't cross the ball. So he's playing for Millwall because he's brilliant at everything else. And Murray Wallace, he was a player that sort of divided opinion, boys. And Murray Wallace, for me, was one that was never a great player, but his fitness, I mean, he wins all the running apparently in pre-season. His desire, his aggression, his physicality, that's what got him through in previous seasons because he's not really, I don't think, no disrespect to him, on paper, ability-wise, a championship player. Mm-hmm. But all those other attributes got him through. Now his legs are starting to go, age is creeping in. He's starting to get a bit of grief, but I think he's been pretty solid again last few games. He managed to keep our old mate Jed Wallace quiet on Saturday, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think that Murray Wallace gets a lot of undeserved stick. I think also we have to remember that, again, he was a player that got brought in as a centre-back. And then all of a sudden, the last couple of seasons was given a new role. The only thing you can't do is you can't play Murray Wallace when they've got some 22-year-old tricky winger that wants to give you a go. It depends how they play. Really, in an ideal world, you'd then have Malone playing there. But look, Murray Wallace gets forward. He's strong. He can win an header. That can be dangerous in a set piece. You don't really have any concerns with him defensively unless he's being attacked down that line.
Yeah.
But you can't have everything. If he had everything, he wouldn't be playing for us, would he?
No, he has been to be. Last season, no one could beat him. Last season, Wallace, he was bang on the money. But this year, I think the legs not as quick, obviously, and there's a few times he's been ripped down that side of racing. Sunderland, Sheffield United, and he likes speed. Like his speedy winger comes up against him. I'm always heart attack moment there because he's going to go past him like he don't exist. And if you watch, obviously, last few games, especially at home for some reason, he seems to get really exposed. And I think it's because he's lost that little bit of pace, Yeah,
Norwich especially got ripped, didn't he?
We need a more agile, like when a guy put the ball past you, the time he's turned, the guy's gone. But we need that sort of player that's that can go with him straight away. And that's the problem we got there. And I think on Saturday that might get exposed to be. I think that will be, if I was a Luton manager, I'd be going, the weak link is Murray Wallace, 100%. 100%. Or you've got to double up, someone's got to back up with him. But we will get ripped and it'll get done because they've got, as you know, some speedy players, Maybe
you're right, Pete. Maybe that's why he's got Honeyman in there and not fucking Watmore or Burke. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Honeyman could drop in. Joe, where do you stand on the machine, the mountain?
You know what? Murray Wallace, he amazes me. He really does.
What expected that?
He does. Sometimes, I can't work it out because, as you say, there's a few times this season, last season, right? I watched his game very closely. And I don't care what winger it was, whether they got pace or not, the way he sort of stands off attackers, he was winning the ball all the time. No matter how good this player was, going towards Murray Wallace last season, I was so confident. I was like, he ain't getting past him. But he seems to have lost that side of him a bit this season, whether his legs are going a bit. But I think there's a few times this season he has been ripped, and I'll be moaning about him. And then all of a sudden, out comes Roberto Carlos, like on Saturday. knocks the ball past the player, and he's down the line, and he's in. He knocked it past someone the other day, went around the other side of him, and he's away. And he puts a good delivery in. And I'm just like, wow, he amazes me. Put it that way.
Yeah, he has got that little. He's always got a little trick in his locker, hasn't he?
Yeah,
To me, he has made a semi-recovery. Murray was. I think. Well, we've been scoring a lot of goals. We've actually not spoke about Bradshaw because he's just doing everything fucking right, in my opinion. But I think the back four as well need credit because they have I think they've really tightened up. They've been doing a lot of defending as well. Oh no, thank you. Yeah, they've been doing a lot of defending as well. So, I mean, listen, we've got two players left to talk about in this team, and that is Tom Bradshaw and George Long. Where do we want to start?
Who and George Long?
Can't say anything bad about Bradders.
What a man.
What, mate?
Who?
So, I mean, let's get. Can I just wind it back as well? Because everyone goes, "You're up Bradshaw's arse," and it's true. We have got a bit of a bromance going on. But look.
He's probably watching as well. So
he probably is watching, yeah. But look, this is what I'll say. Let's not forget, I'm not digging Rowett out. There was a time during COVID when Bradshaw couldn't get near this side and John Daly Mavarson was playing in front of him. And I used to say, he hadn't played for about a year. He couldn't get in front of Bravarson. I said, if you give him the right sort of service, he will score goals. And at the minute, I mean, he's surpassed even what I thought he would. So this sort of ties in with George Long as well, because he's actually winning headers and things now. His hold-up play has improved. He's not just scoring the goals. He's doing the things that I said he couldn't do. You know, he back to play, back to goal, defenders up his arse. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm pleased that his missus is from Bexley and he's now 29 years old, because if he was younger and he didn't want to be in the area, I reckon someone would honestly buy him.
Yeah. Well, look, it says it all that he's just got recalled to the Wales squad after how long? So people are seeing he's doing something right. I think with Bradshaw, it was nobody wasn't in the team. I think we need to play in a way. We need to play to his strengths, and he's more of a fox in the box, and you need to create chances for him. But I noticed what you just said about. He's massively improved on his sort of hold-up play, winning balls in the air. Because how many times have we moaned this season going, why are we hoofing the ball up long to Bradshaw, blah, blah. But I've not heard people moan about that for a while, because he is actually starting to win those balls in the air when we knock it up to him. So I think his game's just massively improved.
Ken?
Why knock the ball up to him? This is what don't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not saying like
no.
To do it, but
he's the only one up front. So you knock the ball up front, knock the ball up for him. He wins the header, and there's no one to flick it onto.
That's the only thing. Yeah.
What is the point? You know, it'd be different if you had two strikers where you nodded it down to the other striker, but he wins the header to no effect, even if he does win the header.
Well, as well, where is these headers coming from? They're coming from a big kick downfield.
How many goals has he scored, Bradders?
14.
How many?
14.
That's very good in this league.
So there's a good and a bad, really. So you've got, you know, for someone that we don't apparently play to his strengths. That's a great return on your goals.
100%.
The bad is that you can't, and I love Bradshaw, and I'd be upset if he weren't in the team, but we don't have anybody else, right? So the only person that we've had play as a 9 this season is Tom Bradshaw, right? So you can't, I can't really sit here and go, has he done really well, or is he the only guy that's getting chances, right? If you had a striker with him, would Bradshaw have scored 14 goals? Would he have scored more, or would he have scored less? How many chances has Bradshaw missed? You know, so it's a really weird one, and I love Bradshaw, but I can't really turn around and think that he's had a great season, because he's the only guy that's really allowed to get in them positions to score goals.
I would say he's had a great season purely
You would on
because of
stats, definitely, and that he's been
numbers
called
of
to the
goals
road.
he scored. I think him and Fleming. I think Fleming's got 13. I think they've got 27 between them.
Yeah.
I think only the Middlesbrough duo, Akpom and whoever the geezer is, have scored more. But I would say the amount of time we spend out of possession, the lack of chances we have been creating more chances. Or again, at times our balls have just been falling for us where they don't usually. But to get 14 goals, I think is very good, especially as he runs that line by himself. He does a lot of work where he's running, and I'm thinking, mate, you're wasting your time there.
Yeah.
And fair play to him. He won't stop. He'll keep running him. He knows he's running. He's pissing in the wind.
He's doing a lot.
Williamson saying to me, he said, Lee Gregory would chase a fucking crisp packet down a windy alley for you. And I feel like Bradshaw would do exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? Would be interesting to see him play with a second striker. But I don't know how, but somehow with him and Fleming, and I can't remember loads of times they've linked up. I know Bradshaw set Fleming up for that penalty at Reading, like to get brought down. But I don't remember loads of times. I might be wrong, where they've linked up massively. I think Bradshaw's forced a lot of goals for himself. Cardiff away sticks out of my memory, just chasing lost causes. The Burnley goal was just a bobbling in the box, nothing, and he's just thrashed it in a corner. I could talk about Bradshaw all day long, honestly. And
see on Saturday though as well, he's doing a lot more off the ball. You know when second half, I'll never forget, he put in a perfectly solid tackle. They had it by was about to break. Perfect tackle. He got a yellow. I was going nuts. I was like, that's not even a foul, let alone a yellow card.
No, I know.
But that's what we want to see. Like when he does that, just flying in tackles and gets the crowd going. We just love to see things like that, and he's doing that as well.
Oh, he is watching. That black booking was an absolute joke, wasn't it? That was an absolute joke.
Do you know what? That was probably one of the best tackles that I've seen all season.
Yeah.
Right.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I couldn't see anything wrong with it. The fact that the geezer decided to do about 25 rolls on the floor.
Oh, what a prick. I know, it's a joke, isn't it?
And the minute he got booked, he's just got up. But it's what the ref says, isn't it? It's what the ref says. And
I think reaction from their fans as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's a really good point there from Michael Heath when he said Bradshaw's movement gives Fleming space to move into. He does do that. I
noticed that some of their runs, the way they sort of run off each other. Yeah. I get that.
He pulls all cross and makes a space for the middle for him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like that shot the other day that he should have hit into the corner, but he didn't. I'm talking about Fleming's shot when he got through. You know?
Well, Callum wants to ask the panel a question. Of course you can, mate. He said, Dan, can I ask the panel a question? Of course. If you take Fleming out of the side, do you think we create half as many chances with anyone else playing other than him? And will Bradshaw get as many chances? Do we create less with... I'll tell you in my opinion, what he does very well, Fleming. I'm forgetting everyone's names tonight. I think the sun's gone to my head today. What he does really well, Fleming, is he does create chances, yes, but what he does is he holds like a high line and he's turning teams over quite a lot by himself. You notice that? He's dispossessing defenders trying to carry the ball out the back and getting in front of him. He's looking the ball back. And we're creating chances from that alone. Do you know what I mean?
He's very strong on the ball as well. Very strong.
Yeah.
You know? Powerful.
Yeah.
So I'll go with like glass ankles maybe. I think drop Fleming for 1 or 2 games and put glass ankles in.
You can't say drop the record signing and put in glass ankles.
I don't think I know what you're saying.
I think he's gone off the boil, Dan. I
don't think Warren's dropping.
Yeah, so I think that I'll got to answer Callum as well because he's been having a hissy fit in the comments, absolute hissy fit. So, like, just so you know, like I'll make you right. I think Fleming, the first half of the West Brom game, pointless in being on the pitch. When he turns up like he did in the second half He was more mobile, running around, creating opportunities, passing the ball, strong on the ball, like Pete said, you know, and then you see his quality. But when he's not doing anything, you know, like the first half of the West Brom game, there's been a couple of games where he has been non-existent, right? That's when you need to either put a rocket up him or you need to put someone else in that position. He is class. He is a great player. But you sometimes you can't just get on there just because maybe something might happen, especially when you've got someone like Honeyman that could play. All right, Honeyman isn't as good as Fleming, but he's got the legs and the tenacity, and sometimes that's what we need going forward.
Sorry, this KP, how's it going, legend? He's talking about Mason Bennett.
KP.
There you go. Shout out from Joe Morris. Made. Yeah, isn't it nice though? Someone saying, Paul, put Fleming here, put Leonard there, bring Billy Mitchell back. It's a nice fucking headache to have. And they say these two signings have come and have hardly played, have they really? Burke and Watmore, which is, you can't really argue with it. You can't say, well, why isn't Rowett playing them? Well, because we're fucking fifth in the division. We're 4 points clear. And the two teams below us, the only two teams we need to worry about in the entire division now, forget Luton. Right, we want to beat Luton, but forget where they are in the league and how many points they got and what they'll do after this, because they're in the playoffs. It don't matter. It don't matter what Middlesbrough do. It don't matter what Burnley do or Sheffield United now. It doesn't matter. All we need to worry about is those two teams below us. Don't look for any results other than Blackburn and Norwich. As I said, lucky enough, they're fucking playing each other this Friday. An ideal scenario for me there will be for Blackburn to beat them. Because if we beat Luton, do you know what I mean? Looking at that table again.
Yeah.
Looking at that table again, we don't want to draw. We want Blackburn to beat them. They're already 4 points clear. If Blackburn beat them, and we beat Luton, which I strongly believe we will, we'll be 7 points clear. We don't want to draw. We want Blackburn to beat Norwich.
Don't forget about Coventry there, Dan.
I don't. But also, they got spanked, didn't they? 4-0 owned by Stoke again. Stoke haven't stopped winning since we played them.
Yeah.
Well, look, boys, we haven't spoke about one player so far in this team. I'll give you a clue. He's in that photo and he's got a pair of gloves in his hand. George Long. I see someone earlier say, I've never been so worried about a goalkeeper since Jordan Archer.
What?
No.
Now, this guy massively divides opinion.
Completely disagree.
I think he's been fine lately, but go on, Pete. You go first.
I know you've heard a thing about him, Dan, and about his mistakes and all that, which, okay. But then he has saved us a good few times. I told you before I made a thing about him, what he does. I just think if we could only work off of if we could just be ahead of what he's thinking, because sometimes he can throw a ball or distribute. He's waiting. Some of these games, we're just static. We stand still. So we get the ball out and he's looking to give it. Everyone's standing still. If there was someone making that run, he would launch it, throw it, kick it, whatever, and he'll land it on a sixpence for them players. But we're too static. You know what I'm saying? And I think
he has definitely released Bradshaw a few times with that sort of low kick.
Yeah, but how about the ones down the wings?
Hands, it'll cut across it, and he has released Bradshaw a couple of times. And I stood up for him with a Sheffield United goal because people said it was his fault. I actually said it's Fleming's fault looking back at it. But he did actually he played an assist in 2 of our goals. Get him. I can't help it. There's something about him that I just shit myself. I think it's only a matter of time and he's going to drop a clanger. And he done it a couple of times Saturday. Come across, he's got nowhere near him. But he massively divides opinion. But I think no matter what people feel, he is going to be the number one now. So I'm hoping he does play really well.
Yeah, I just think if the Millwall players, especially the wingers, when we got on attack, and like for example, when we have a defender in a corner, it's 0-0, and we've got every one of our players back. Yeah, we don't even have anyone on the halfway line anymore, right? So if we get the ball or he catches the ball, he's looking to throw it out quick. We're in the penalty area.
You said this, Ken, didn't you, Saturday?
I was going mad about it. Do you know why? Because against Norwich, it cost us. Against Norwich, we had every single player in the box or on both of them set pieces, Bradshaw scored an own goal and Zian Fleming scored the other own goal. The two people that should be further up the pitch are knocking it into their own goal. I don't understand it.
Observation, that.
Yeah, there's obviously a logic behind it, but the problem is sometimes there's too many chefs in the kitchen, and it spoils the broth or whatever that saying is. Do you know what I mean? So
that was it.
Was it? Perfect.
Right. There's too many cooks spoil the broth.
Oh, right. Sorry, mate.
You know what it's the same thing, isn't it?
But that's what I'm saying. If everyone's marked, we need an outlet, even if it's one outlet. Even if what you do is you stick Danny McNamara up top. He drops back for the set pieces, for corners and that, because he's not going to get his head on the ball. We'll stick him up top. He's a fast little whippet. At least we've got an outlet,
Well, if you kept two players back up, they've got to bring two defenders to mark you.
Of course,
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a minimum.
No brainer.
I mean, look, I don't mind long as I still think he's got a rick in him badly. I don't think his kicks are as fantastic as everyone thinks, especially the big punts up towards Bradshaw. I don't think they really do a lot for us. However, I have seen him do where he cuts across it, kicking it like that, and throws where he has set us on the way. His distribution is definitely better than Bart's, but I just think I don't think he's fully confident. I've seen him come flapping and missing wings, and I can't ever say like in the past I have with Bart, and maybe because we're a better side now. He's won us that game. He's won us those points, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong, but you can see in the comments that it's massively dividing opinion.
I'll tell you now, George Long, what a keeper. What a keeper, right? I don't know what clangers you lot are talking about, right? There's one goal. There's one goal where he's let it go straight past him. That penalty save was a joke, right? But that's two that I can remember. I can remember two goals that Barkowski let in one game that he should have saved, right? Barkowski was a fantastic shot stopper, but he's about 52 now, right? He definitely walks like it and dives like it, and I love that.
But he walks and dives like that when he turned up at the club. He's never got any work.
Yeah.
He ruled into SC16 to start with.
Long, right, is more athletic, right? Yeah. Bart never, ever came out for crosses, came out for anything and commanded his penalty area. Long, in the first half against West Brom, he came out and caught three and punched one out, right? He ain't going to get them all, right? So the one time that he didn't get it, we let a goal in and everyone blamed him for it, right? But he's come out and tried to get it. That was a home game. I can't remember who it was against. Right? I don't understand the hate for George Long, because I'm telling you now, there will come a point in these 7 games, right, when you have to rely on your goalkeeper and everyone will be turning around and praising him.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
where do you stand on this, Joe?
I think there was a stage, a few games back. I have to say about Long now, I think he's improved on this last few games, but there was a stage where there was 2-3 games in a row where I thought, no, he should have saved that. And I was like, no, he needs to go get Bart back in. But I think he's improved a bit. And people are saying about, you can't just do distribution alone. I'll give you a prime example, right? The way football is evolving, teams are playing it out the back more. People want a keeper that's good with the ball at his feet. You look at Man City when they sort of dropped Joe Hart for Ederson. Joe Hart hadn't done much wrong, but Ederson, some of these, he's an example. Some of these keepers do look like a bit edgy. They might have a mistake in them, but they're better with the ball at their feet, distribution, and Man City do that, and they know what they're doing, like the league titles. And I think both keepers have their strengths and their weaknesses, but I think we've got 2 good keepers there. I think Bart's a better shot stopper, close range, Long, stronger in other parts like his distribution. But don't get me wrong, he's made a few good saves as well. That's kept us in games. So I'm starting to lean towards now just keeping Long there. I don't see why Bart should come back in at the minute as much as I do love him. But I'd be happy with either of them, in all honesty. I'm very much on the fence.
Again, I think it's a fucking nice debate that we're having.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's nice that we've got two goalkeepers. I don't think Bart deserved to be dropped. I don't
think he did at the start, yeah.
He could never run. His legs were shot when he came to the club. That's why we got him for 300 grand instead of $1 million. He won back-to-back Player of the Year. Yeah, he's 35, but he was 34 last season, 33 the season before, won Player of the Season. I don't think age is creeping in. I just think young blood's come in and people said it's time for a change. And look, to be fair, since he has changed it, I'm not saying it's down so long, but we've been doing really well. I think that Long has got a rick in him. I don't think he's a championship goalkeeper, really. However, I think in the last 4 or 5 games, he's improved. Fair play to Rowett for persisting with him, because I could put together a video and show you 8 or 9 goals he conceded that he shouldn't have done, starting from when he very first came in.
And I could show you 20, 30 saves he's made.
I don't think he has.
Well, I think he has, Dan.
Made a great double save on Saturday.
I don't think he did.
He made some great saves.
But me and Kenny right on Saturday. Me and Kenny, a fellow I know was sitting in front of us, and the ball was going through, and Long was just like picking it up, and I was going, "What a save! What a save, Longy!" And he was looking around at us as if we were fucking weirdos. He didn't get there's an inside joke. At one time, I think a West Brom player hit a shot, hit the advertising audience, and bounced back, and Kenny was like, "Fucking George Long." I'm gonna make Kenny his own screensaver for his phone. It's gonna be Ryan Leonard, George Long, and Matt Smith. You actually want it, don't you?
Perfect.
Let's talk about one man who doesn't play for us anymore on Saturday, Jed Wallace. That was a game for Jed that used to have for Millwall a lot. Occasionally a match winner, but a lot of the time stuff he tried didn't come off. I thought we did very well against him. But I want to talk about when he came over at full time. I got the camera out, just sort of caught the last 4 or 5 seconds, so disappointed myself on that one. But he came to our fans and clapped us, didn't he?
That was sort of half-hearted, I noticed. He didn't come right over. It was like he didn't know whether to or not. It was sort of a little turnaround to see the reaction. And
what happened? Everyone was sort of like, Jed Wallace, you're a blah blah, right? But as he was coming over nearer, that sort of chant died down a little bit, and people did start to applaud him. Yeah,
it's part and parcel of it. Though, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think slowly the chants died, and the fans clapped him for at least coming over to clapping their fan, but he come right over to our corner as well, really, and clapped us as well. So I think the crowd sort of warmed to him towards the end, and it's Jed, isn't it?
Yeah. So a fair play to him for doing it, because there was some people clapping, although the majority were singing Wallace.
Yeah,
CUNC. We'll speak to Kenny and Joe and how they feel about that. Do you think a part of him now thinks fucking probably should have stayed? Because I tell you what, in that last 20 minutes for me, West Brom surprisingly seemed happy with a point, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, they were almost walking at one point, weren't they? Everybody. Yeah. I think, Jed was a great servant for us. There's no doubt about it. He went because he wanted to, get a better deal for his family, and we'd all do it in our own jobs, in our own lives.
Yeah, definitely.
For some reason in football, you're not allowed to do it. But Jed, for me, was an individual player again. Yeah, if Jed didn't play well, Millwall didn't play well.
Yeah,
that's a very good question there from Lee Lion Blue. Are we a better team without Jed?
We're doing better, aren't we?
I mean, if you had Jed playing on that right hand side,
wow,
I wouldn't say no. That's for sure. I wouldn't say no. But again, do we want to be a team, or do we want to be a team of individuals? Because to be honest with you, West Brom do look like a team full of individuals.
Yeah.
They didn't look like a unit.
Jed was our creator, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Jed was our creator last year.
Our only creator.
We
Wouldn't
yeah, we ain't
Yeah.
got. We haven't got anyone of his level as a creator. Like, I mean, if he was in our team today with Fleming and all that, oh my God, what a team we would have. As a
We said that Saturday, didn't we?
yeah, he was
Gary Wallace said it as well.
a better
Imagine
team
having
without
both.
him. Better team without him. No, I wouldn't have thought so, because we going forward and what he could create for us as a danger, I would say. Better a unit maybe, but not a better team. We do work together as a team more, where Jed would get the ball and create things, and it's got worked around Jed. So yeah, bit of both really. I think.
Well, there's a question appearing, like within itself in the comments. I would have Jed back tomorrow if we went up. Jed Wallace has gone with 5th. If we go up, would you take Jed back?
No, he's not a Premiership player.
Yeah.
He's not a Premiership
Like
player.
what?
Then again, a lot of them players in the Mill team ain't Premiership players, to be fair. They get their merit, but no, I wouldn't take him. Obviously, in the Championship, I'll take him back next year, 100%. You know, but he's not a Premiership player. Far from it. Far
I don't think any of if we was to go up, you're going to laugh at me.
I know what you're going to say. You said it to me Saturday.
Yeah, I'd keep George Long, but I don't think, other than maybe Cooper, Cresswell would go back. There's anyone in that team that's Premiership quality.
Well, there's nothing wrong with saying that, because if you look at the fucking gap between the fucking divisions,
Yeah,
I think the majority of the teams that go up would say the same. Even Burnley,
Yeah.
the gap's fucking huge. Look at Burnley pissing our league. Will they get spanked 6 by Man City or something like that in the cup?
yeah.
The gulf is fucking huge.
Your sponsor got it right, I think, because I've always wanted Millwall to play all this stuff about the Millwall way. We've got to play the Millwall, like getting stuck in and grinding out results, like the back to wall stuff against Burnley, where we managed to snatch a point in the end. But I've always wanted a Millwall team that could play the Fulham, the Bournemouth, the Burnley, the Brentford way. Do you know? And like your sponsor said the other day after the game, which he bang on, he went, you know, we will never play the Burnley way, but if we got promoted, yeah, and we got all that money, and then we go straight back down, then we will play that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he made a good point on that. And he's right. And I think that is the only way we're going to get away from this so-called Millwall way and play a bit of football, because we'll have a bit of money to go out and buy them sort of players, which we ain't got at the moment. And I long for the day that we can play like that.
Well, it's sort of...
Imagine us being a Fulham or and going to teams and watching that week in, week out, and being the favourites to win every game. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what?
If only.
Well, it's led us on quite nicely, actually, to will we go up? Can we go up? Remaining fixtures: possible 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. There's a possible 21 points still up for grabs. I mean, look, right here, right now, if the league table was as it is right now, and it was the last game tomorrow, I'd still be confident against Blackburn at home. I still think they may drop out, Blackburn. What are we thinking, boys? Because I honestly thought we'd have fallen away by now. That's nothing against the team or the manager, but it's been a long, hard slog on a limited squad, should we say? So you've got to give full credit to Rowett.
Dan,
You can't recognise him because he ain't got a baseball cap on.
Dan, I reckon we could lose 3 of them games, and still, and if we won 3 and drew 1, I think we'll make it. 10 points.
We don't want to talk about losing games, but you're right. At the same time, look, if we was to lose to Luton and Blackburn beat Norwich, it makes absolutely no difference.
Yeah.
And we're 6 games away. We've just got to match Norwich's results every time. We don't even really need to worry about Blackburn. We have got that extra buffer now. But if Blackburn beat Norwich and we lose to Luton, it makes no difference at all.
Yeah, but then the likes of Coventry get 3 points closer.
Yeah, maybe Coventry were the only ones to worry about. But I'm just looking at one game at a time, one team at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I'm trying to fucking look at it. Are we feeling confident, boys? Looking at that.
I think you've broken that up quite well, Dan. To be honest, because
Thank you very much.
the next 4 games are probably the most important. You could probably forget the last 3. I'll tell you why. Because Wigan will probably be relegated, got nothing to play. They're already on holiday. Blackpool will probably already be on holiday.
They're both on the piers already. Wigan and fucking Blackpool piers.
Yeah. And I think that if we smash them, I think we're going to beat Luton. Hull possibly could be a slip up for a draw. I think we'll beat Preston. I think we'll beat Burnley. We ain't losing. I don't think we're losing at home. I don't think we're losing at home for the rest of the season. So, I think if we get 9-10 points out of them next 4 games, which I think we'll be more than capable of doing, them last 3 games are irrelevant anyway.
I'll stand here now. Right, I've been sceptical. Is that the word? I think we're making the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, I do.
When we go up is another question, but I think we're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Best position we've ever been in.
If we make the playoffs, I said right at the beginning of the season, we've got the team here to make the playoffs. I've said it all season. If we make the playoffs and then it's in the hands of the gods maybe, but we had a goal and we got there, right? If we had a trip to Wembley, even better, right? If we win at Wembley, then it's a dream come true. If we lose, we go again, but we got where we wanted to go after all this.
You know what? I thought I was landing the other day and I was thinking, imagine I actually got to do a full-time reaction from Wembley. I know I've done it before, but that was League One. That was League One. And I thought if it got to that full-time reaction and we lost, and even lost heavily, I don't think I'd be gutted. Of course I would. But I think I could stand there proud as a Millwall fan saying, do you know what? We fucking give it a good go. That's been a fantastic season.
Because it's been a step up. We've pushed them season after season, haven't we?
100%. Mate, look at the teams we're playing against. Bradford, Scunthorpe, Southend. Do you know what I mean? All these Chesterfield.
Charlton.
Yeah.
Charlton. All these teams. Yeah, nice one. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't really, if we made the playoffs and we got battered in the playoffs, you just go, do you know what? We have moved to that next level.
And we have come a long, long way since Rowlett's come into our club, right?
Well, I would say since Lions TV's begun, but go on.
Yeah, every year we've got better and better and better. Yeah, every year the club as a club has progressed and is on the upward spiral rather than a downward spiral. If I brought you back to maybe 4 or 5 years ago or whatever, when League One, and we played Walsall on that Saturday, there'd be 300 fans going down to that match. Yeah. Instead, we went to West Brom and took 2,000 and could have took more because we sold out. Because we're that team now where we've got this momentum now. We're believing in it, and we just took a team that's going forward and not backwards. Yeah. We're not once had to worry about relegation for the last 4 years.
Like Dave Turner says, if it does happen and we do get to Wembley, we ain't fucking broke the bank to get there. Honestly, like the club is run so fucking well, isn't it? Maybe managers we've ummed and ahed, but we've never doubted Mr. Berylson, have we?
No, he's always the best manager that's been out there. To be fair, we wanted Olway, we got him. We wanted Rowett, we got him. You know, we didn't want what's his name, the West Ham geezer.
Lomas.
We didn't want him, but we got him.
He gets us managers that we don't want as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
So what it is, we are massively, as my dad said, we've improving each. Look, we've never been in this position at this stage of the season.
Not since 2002-03 under Mark McGinn. Yeah. Won the league 2000, 2001, and then nearly went up again. Then we lost to
this season, I've been very positive. I haven't always been previous seasons, but I don't know why. Right? I think it was coming off the back of the Huddersfield defeat, and with the international break, something crept in my mind leading up to Saturday, thinking this is the stage of the season where we usually mess it up, and I had this bad feeling we was going to lose Saturday and then go on a bit of a downward spiral. But just getting that point, that's why it felt so huge for me and felt like a win and the performance. And I just think we're just going to get stronger and stronger. And for me, I believe we're going to do it and we're going to get in there. And we'll be in the Premier League next season.
I'm buzzing from you saying that, Joe. I'm absolutely buzzing from you saying that.
I think we're going to
Honestly.
West
you know,
Brom,
whether we go up or not is another question.
I've just got such this good feeling inside, like that this could be our time.
Okay. I think someone said it to me the other day, it's in the stars. There's a question from KP I want to answer there, which I want you to answer in a minute as well. But things just seem to be going right for us, don't they? I know we're tempting fate here, boys. We look at this league table one last time. Who do you fear or feel could be our closest? Because we fear no foe. So who do you feel could be our closest competitor there? Who do you think, if we're making the playoffs and we make the final, who do you think is going to be going ahead against us there?
Middlesbrough.
Same.
Yeah, I'd say Middlesbrough.
You know what? I was literally going to say that, Dan. I was going to ask that question. Do you honestly fear anyone out of all them teams there?
Well, do you know what? This is name dropping a little bit, right? I spoke to Ben Thompson the other day, and he went to me about coming on the show in the summer, and he said he'll come on when the season's finished. And then he was having a chat with me about the playoffs, and he went, "We making the playoffs or what?" And I went, "I think we're going to." And he went, "I'm telling you now." He went, "Not one fucking team will want to play us in the playoffs."
No, they won't.
No.
Which one?
they all want to play us. Don't worry about that.
No, they'll be fearing us. I'm telling you.
No, they won't, Joe. No, they won't. Luton, if we go to Luton in the first leg, it could be all over in the first leg, judging by the last game we had them, because we rode our luck. We could have been 4-0 down at half time.
Listen, come into the den.
5-2, it wouldn't have been no shock.
Come into the den in a playoff semi-final for the Premier League. No one is going to fancy that.
I've been Chilwell. And KP puts a lovely question across. He said, if we don't go up, will Rowett leave? He must be fucking in people's minds now. You can't argue with the job he's done, whether it's pretty, whether it's not, whether we wanted him, whether we didn't. You can't argue where we are in a division and the budget he's had.
Yeah, look, I can't stand Rowett, as you know. I can't, you know, and I always said that he's a maths guy, and I always felt like he would play a particular way until we got to a certain amount of points, which would mean we were safe, and then he'd let the shackles off. I believe that he's done that, but if I was Gary Rowett and we got to the playoffs and we didn't go through, there's absolutely no way in this world I'd be leaving Millwall Football Club. I'd be going, I've given, how long's he been here now? 4 or 5 years? 4?
3.
No, he come at the middle
Done
of
3 years and got more, didn't he?
1920 season, wasn't it? 2019, 4 years.
Yeah.
October 2019, I think it was.
I've done it. All right, I went like this, and then I went like that, and then I've done that, and then I've done that. Right? There's absolutely no way in this world that I'm leaving Millwall Football Club until I get these boys promoted.
Yeah,
that would the way I would be thinking, because he's made, whether I like him or whether I don't like him, he's made the impossible possible. Right, which means that next step now is open for us to want. The biggest problem that he's going to have if we don't get into the playoffs or we don't win the playoffs is that he is going to be under some intense pressure next season to get us there. And that dilly-dallying that we done at the beginning of this season, I don't think will be tolerated for long.
I was literally thinking about this to myself earlier. I was in two minds. I was thinking...
We've all secretly been thinking about it, but no one wants to mention.
Yeah, I was thinking, if we get to the playoffs and don't go up, will Rowett think, okay, this is as far as I can take him? But then in my other mind, I was thinking, well, no, because he's improved all season. If we don't get to the playoffs and don't go up, we've already made that next step. And exactly leading on to what Kenny said, he'll be under pressure. He'll be thinking, right, I want to get this team to the Premier League. We're getting closer each time. And if we don't go up, next season will be right. We've got to really push.
Don't forget as well, us, we didn't get the strike he wanted in that Nisbet, did he? The chairman, he'll be able to go to the chairman with his hand out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Saying, come on, JB. Look,
we're within touching distance.
New training ground coming. 10 minutes from where I live. Been up there.
The only problem you have got.
Just everything's pointing towards that. I need a little bit more from you now.
The only problem that you have got with that is from a job point of view, instead of just, you know, the way that our mentality works. Does he look at it and go, I've got them to here. Can I 100% do that next season?
Yeah.
Or am I quite an acquired taste all of a sudden to other teams at a better paid job with better players?
Nearer where he I think the only thing that will play a factor in that is nearer where he wants to be.
Yeah.
You know, he's got family, obviously, of course. You know, maybe his kids are probably in their late teens, early 20s. He lives over Canary Wharf. He's been seen walking with his dog over Canary Wharf. You know, it's not right. You know, fair play to the man. He's working away from home. I've done that. It ain't something you want to do fucking permanently. Do you know what I mean?
Look at Sean Dyche and Eddie Howe and all that. They're all away from home. That's their job. That's their job. They're not going to live on their doorstep, are they?
No, true.
But the other thing is, I would have said with Gary Rowett, and I said it in an interview I've done with you a few years ago. I said I'd give Gary Rowett 3 years. He's now into his 4th year. And I said, I don't think he's the manager to take us to the next level. You know, just imagine, do you reckon if we took the Brentford manager now, that he could have that Millwall team playing the Brentford way? Or is it down to the managers wanting to be sort of dull, grind out results?
I think it's the way in the Championship, really. Do you know what I mean? Even like up to the point West Brom on Saturday, I said the West Brom, they're usually a team, you know, look at Norwich and look at fucking Watford. They're teams that should be right up there, and they find how fucking hard it is in this division now. Like, Burnley are a little bit of an exception to the rule with their flair play. They knock it around lovely, but you've got to grind it out in this division. Anyone can beat anyone. It's so fucking hard to get out. You've got to bear in mind as well, we'd never get the fucking Brentford guy because he'd be on fucking about 9 times what any of our players are on.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, where do these other teams get these managers from that play this like beautiful football, aren't they? You know, the Fulham manager, the one that's at West Brom now, but he's a football man, isn't he? You know, the Belcher that he got from playing football with intensity and things like that. That's what I crave for.
I think it's where they're from as well. You know, these foreign managers. You know, if you, I think Thomas Frank he's Dutch, isn't he?
Denmark.
Yeah, right. So you know they play a particular way, and if you notice in his team, there's a lot of Danish players in his team.
Recruitment's key for Brentford as well. It goes more, runs deeper than the manager. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the money they've earned off big sales as well that they've reinvested.
Yeah. So,
but listen,
you know,
I mean, you can't say right here, right now, we're not happy with Rowett, but I think not just Rowett, I think it runs even just the little things around the club that the club's listening to, the fucking Pie and Mash coming in and the bands that they're putting on. It's more of like more effort going in left, right, and centre. And I think that's down to the chairman and people like Billy Taylor. You know, they're doing their own podcast now. They're trying to give the fans more content. It's like they're actually giving a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Across the board, it's not just on the pitch, but as well as on the pitch and off it, I think Berylson's got to take massive credit, and as well Neil Harris for getting it to that level and then walking away when he did. That wasn't easy to do.
Yeah,
and then Rowett coming in, and it's very rare you lose one manager. I mean, look at Man United and Everton. I know they're bigger clubs, but lose a manager, new one comes in and takes straight on and carries on that good work. That's fucking not an easy feat. And at the minute, everything just seems to be fucking going right. And we are in a fucking great position, boys, going into Friday's game. Quick prediction on Friday.
We got a potential 4 sellouts at home coming up.
Yeah,
games are final now.
I keep saying Friday. Friday's pretty much gone. I looked earlier. There's very limited tickets left.
You know, I think if we keep going the way we are, I think, and we keep pushing for the playoffs, I think we'll have 4 sellouts, and I think you'll find it'll probably be the biggest crowds we've ever had at Millwall in our history, like our history, for home attendances this season.
Yeah, and usually we get a big crowd and we fuck it up, don't we, with a game? But we haven't really.
Like
United,
you know.
There's a real buzz around the place, and it's fucking all good news, boys. Nothing. Look, I said before, we don't want to come on this podcast and moan.
No.
It's been brilliant tonight. I've started to question with what's going right.
Yeah.
Because it's good for us as fans. It's good for this channel. There's still 1,500 tickets left, Dave Turner said. They must be majority of those. Must be in the
Jeremy Cole stand.
There must be in the Jeremy Cole stand. The cold blow name. Lee Lion Blue is going for a 3-0 win. Millwall Tube, he'll have a fucking vlog up in no time at all after the game. This guy's relentless with his content. Give him a subscribe if you don't mind. 1-0 Cooper last minute. I think we're going to beat them, boys. I think we're going to beat them, and I think it'll be tight, 2-1 or 1-0.
Yeah, I'd say 2-1.
I'm thinking a bit of a high-scoring game. I'm thinking like maybe 3-2, 4-3, something like that.
To us, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we are going to absolutely steamroll Luton, and that is going to beat it. So I'm going for a 4-1 win.
No, you woke me up there, Ken.
You love the 4-1.
Hey, now didn't Watford do them 4-0, didn't they?
There you go.
That's fine.
They beat Watford the other day, didn't they, in the old derby? Fucking ended Watford's
No,
path.
I think our key against them will be set pieces.
Yeah.
Set pieces.
If we beat Luton, there's not another team that we can't beat in them 7 games.
100%.
Yeah, well said. Well said. All right, boys, we'll end it there. Still 200 in, and we're hour and 34, 203, hour and 36 minutes in, but my arse is killing me. I actually sit on the floor. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been a while. I won't lie and say, well, it's going to be a weekly show because I just can't seem to fucking get a weekly show. But I'll tell you what, let's try. We'll do Luton and Hull, and then we'll have another look here, hopefully.
Yeah.
We got to commit to it a little bit with 7 games coming up.
Yeah, we have. And I was asleep. I had my first beer at 9 a.m. on fucking Saturday morning, and I got in at I got in at 11:30 at night. So I was asleep all day yesterday. She woke me up when it was 8 o'clock. I went, post-match analysis, and I thought, that's not happening. So we've dug it. We've revived it with the live stream. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks to the panel as always for tuning in. Thanks for the questions. And we'll see you at the Den on Friday. Please subscribe to Lions TV.
Come on, Lions.